I'm Linda Brubaker, and I am a career transitions coach. And one of the things we want to do is share ideas and information with you. And I'm going to apologize now because I had a lot of family here over the weekend, and the two little rugrats decided to share something with me. Okay, so I'm going to put myself on and off camera or on and off volume every once in a while, just because you don't need to hear me cough. Anyway, so we're here to give you that support. We know that you don't really want to be here, and our goal is to give you those tips, tricks, and networking support to help you move forward into that next forever job. Please put your information in the chat. I'm going to do mine as well. Now, as you all know from what we talk about these meetings, this is not a sales tool. I will tell you, however, that Sue and I both do these as our way of giving back. And in addition, in order to support some of that, and I've been doing these now for over 8 years. In those 8 years, over 920 of the people that I've worked with, who've either come into these meetings and been active participants or worked with me one-on-one, have gotten offers. The reason that I mention that, and the fact that I bring to you my 20 plus years of experience in human resources as a human resource business partner, a hiring manager, a recruiter, both inside and outside. So I've been a headhunter as well as managing talent acquisition for several companies. In addition, Sue and I both are constantly talking to our colleagues. We're doing research to make sure that the information we're presenting you is that which is actually usable now within the job search field. What hiring managers are looking for, what recruiters, what HR people are actually looking for throughout this whole process. And we're going to try and give you our ideas and our hints based on all of that research, as well as what we know has worked with other people. So here's my one and only sales pitch for the day, is that in addition to doing these meetings, I also do one-on-one coaching, and I actually see a couple of my clients in. So if you'd like to work with anybody for some resume or LinkedIn assistance, including LinkedIn engagement strategies, or how do you get out there? How do you find people to network with? How do you find the right opportunities for you and put yourself and your materials together in ways that help attract new people? When you're there and you're ready, how do you do the right interview prep to make sure that what you're saying is that which is important for the new company, right? It's what's in it for them, not necessarily what's in it for you. So I'm going to put my information in the chat, and anybody who'd like to work with me, I would love to work with you as well. And now we're going to get going actually on the meat of the meeting, and let Sue Griffey introduce herself as well.
Thanks, Linda. I'm happy to be here, even though this is a place that you all may not be happy to be here for. I'm known as the mentor with pom-poms. You'll see me using these. Well, today, maybe not so much because I'll be talking, but I bring the pom-poms so we help you celebrate your successes. The first is that you show up here. Now, Linda doesn't know I'm going to do this, but I generally try to catch up with the YouTube live stream that she's doing now when I can't attend. And I just want to mention the importance of you showing up. Why is this? Here's what I heard. Debbie got a job. Yay, Debbie. I got to get my pom-poms out for that. David, Lashana, Lisa, you two, let's see, David, I think had his contract stuff might be coming through. Lashana, I forgot to write down the topic, but you had something important to share and you weren't sure that it was something you should share. Not so, you said, I don't know if you'll consider this a success. And I might have gotten all these wrong. Okay. Lisa V, who I know very well, talked about joining a networking group in Forum. Think about all that we're hearing from each other. And then Shahzad Akbar, I think Shahzad was new. It's the first time I've seen him. He had some interesting comments as well as his introduction. Now, why is all this important? Because Linda said that we keep up with things. Things also include all of you here. When you bring your problems here, we give you advice going forward. But you're also, for us sometimes, the leading edge. If you say to me, oh, I had an AI interview that had an avatar that was moving around the room, and whatever is your experience, we also learn from you. And that's why we maybe in a way selfishly do this because we want to know what's out at the leading edge so we can help you. But I also want you to understand, if I didn't mention your name, number one, I didn't finish the recording. But number two, I want you to know that everything you contribute is not lost. It adds to the body of intellectual property, is what I call it, out in YouTube. Comes under Linda's Lunch and Learn, but you all are featured there. And so don't forget to give yourself credit for that. You don't need a lot more than this from me about the Mentor with Pom Poms. That's what I'm here to celebrate. When I'm not presenting, I'm usually in the chat making sure you're focusing on the important things that are being said. And you can help yourself get known and noticed by doing the same thing. So when I'm presenting today, even if it's controversial and you say, well, gee, Sue, I'm not really, that doesn't fit what I want to do. That's great. But instead of saying that's not what will fit with me or this will help me, tell everybody specifically. The golden nugget is what Mindy Stern calls these. What did you hear that will help? Sue, the way you're talking about categories is a way that I can now weave some of my experience together because the chat lives on. Remember, Linda shares that with you. All right, Linda, I took a long intro because I wanted to acknowledge what people do when they come here, how they help us while they're helping each other. And I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Sue, because that was wonderful. So yes, the chat lives on. So make sure your information is in the chat. Make sure you join our private group so that you can participate in those discussions there as well. We do it continuing there. Make sure you network with one another. And I already saw that somebody said that they tried to connect with somebody. I think it was Christine. I'm not sure, but the link wasn't working. So make sure that your URLs really are working before you put them in. Cindy, okay. So when I try and do this, when I add them to our private group, I try and keep them as clickable links, but if you haven't made a clickable link, there's nothing that I can do about that. So double check to make sure that it really is a clickable link and that it gets to where it needs to be before you. All right, we're going to get started. And for those of you who've been here before, you know that we start with quick wins. And we're going to do a shortened version of this today because we have a lot to cover. So if you've had a quick win, please raise your digital hand. Lisa, all right. Okay. So I see Lisa, I see Lashana. Lashana, you got your hand up first. You want to turn your camera on?
Hello, everyone. Just a quick update. The phone or the virtual interview rather went well on Monday. I have a follow-up with an interview panel on next Thursday, the 7th. And then today, later this afternoon, I have a phone screening with another company that a former coworker connected me with through one of his connections. So this last week or so has been a whirlwind, but this is the most human interaction I've had with this job search. So thank you guys for the encouragement.
Absolutely. Thank you. Lisa.
I have 2 interviews. Woohoo! One on Friday and one on Wednesday for 2 different companies that I've been working months. LinkedIn commenting on posts, that is huge. And I have them on Monday or Friday and Tuesday. So I'm very excited.
We should
Very
be. Let us
excited.
know how it goes. So, but the idea
Okay.
of commenting on the posts for people, for those companies that you're interested in, you may not think it makes a difference, but it really does. Okay.
It
You
does.
come to become that known commodity. You're the
Because the
person that they want
person, I'm
to
sorry, but the person I'm meeting with on Friday said that I have a good social media presence, and she had told someone else, a mutual person that I know. So that's really important.
It is. It's very important. And not only that, your social media presence is going there as a way of talking about what you can do for them. It's not just about you. It's about how you can help them. You don't have to come out and say it that way, but it's making you that subject matter expert, demonstrating that you're interested in what they're interested in and what you can do for them. Many of us forget that it's not just about having our profile out there. Those comments those connections online are incredibly important, and Lisa's an example of that. It's posted, Lisa. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, Michelle.
Yes, Lisa, I see you all over the place and it makes me feel bad because I'm not as
No,
good at it, but you are a good example.
You get better. Just
Yeah.
keep doing it.
Yeah.
and that's exactly right. It doesn't have to be perfect. It
No.
never has to be perfect. Okay.
It just has
That
to
is
be
better than
you.
perfect.
Yeah, so I have the same feeling as Lashana because I actually have a human person who is wanting to interview me on Monday, which was from just a cold, sent my resume for a job. And when I look back on the resume, I thought, oh, I messed up. I didn't even format that very well, but got the interview for Monday and I was just checking my email messages this morning. Someone that I was just networking with through a shared connection and asked to meet the VP of marketing in his company. He wrote to say, hey, I told her about you and she just happens to be hiring for a role that might be perfect for you. Send your resume. So networking does work.
Networking works. Commenting on LinkedIn works. Even sending your resume in cold, it truly does work. Okay, so don't shy away from that. Make your connections, but don't be afraid to apply directly. Perfect. Charles.
Yeah, oh, thank you. I had a unique experience, and as I said to my wife, I don't exactly know what to make of it. I had a conversation last week with somebody at Comcast Business about a sales engineering job there. It's not 100% a fit, but I can talk about half the stuff they sell pretty well, and the other half I'm not as worried about, although it's a big part of their business today. They're moving that direction. The point is, I was supposed to talk to the guy on Thursday. He had to push to Friday. We talked for half an hour. He had to run because his boss was looking for him. We were supposed to talk Monday. He never sent the invite until Monday morning when I repinged him the second time, pushed it to Tuesday. Tuesday pushed it to this morning. We had a call this morning and he invited a peer on that I didn't know was coming. The guy is very low key and mellow. So I don't know how to read that because it's seems like it's sort of a lower energy process that I might be used to. And um I don't know. Like, I'm trying not to say, well, he couldn't meet because he's disorganized, which I know that as a sales engineer, your days don't belong to you. They belong to the people you support, and they need you in a minute. They need you. So I don't hold that against him, but it's just hard to read a low energy interviewer to know where it's going. And I sent my thank you note already this morning for the call that I had this morning. So I'm on
Good.
that.
Excellent. Thank you. Good luck. Keep us posted. Yeah, some of them are not as high energy as we'd hope. That tells you a little bit about the company, perhaps, and its culture and the way they work. It may not. It may just be the morning. Okay. Sherilyn.
Hi, everybody. So I have three little wins. Um, uh, Bella had her third epidural last Friday, and she survived, and I survived the vet session, which is really good. I've gone 24 hours with electricity because we've had a lot of storms here in Minnesota, so the electricity has just keeps going out. And I had an interview this morning. And he and I got along really well. It's an IoT GPS tracking solution. And he found me on LinkedIn. And uh, we have a follow-up interview. He already sent me a video of a demo of the solution because he wants to get my thoughts on how do I feel I could position this in the Minnesota market or essentially any market, but specifically here in Minnesota. So he already sent me that. So I need to follow up with him with a thank you. And we have a follow up for this upcoming Tuesday, the 5th, for a second interview. So those are
Congratulations. That's
my
great.
three wins.
Perfect. I love things in threes like that. great.
Electricity.
We forget how important that is right until it's gone. know.
Trying to clean the litter box, holding the flashlight under your arm and scooping things out from the basement. Yeah, electricity is it's key.
It is
But
a key.
and I really like the fact that he and I this morning when we were talking, we're even talking, we clicked so well. And he's from Minnesota, but he's now in Florida. But we were even talking about emotional intelligence and we for the first 30 minutes, we were clicking. And it's not a position that he has advertised, but he just saw my background and thought, this is someone that I should talk to.
Good.
Yeah.
Congratulations. So I've heard several different ways of people getting interviews this morning. Somebody just got found on LinkedIn. Somebody applied directly. Okay. There was another one who said that what they did was, and I apologize for not remembering who said what, but another one who said that they connected with somebody whose manager might be interested. Commenting on their posts, making yourself visible, having that fully complete LinkedIn profile and activity is huge. Don't wait to apply if the job is posted. Go ahead and do that, but build on those connections as well, because you shouldn't be waiting to make those connections, to make those interviews, to make yourself visible and that subject matter expert. You should be doing that all along. Perfect. Okay. Cindy, do you want to turn your camera on? And you had your hand raised.
Okay, so I put it in the chat. Why do companies have to do offer those assessments, cognitive assessments? I mean, I'm educated, don't have a PhD, but I mean, I don't know. Do they have to look at how you did for that? I didn't score as well. I mean, I didn't finish the thing.
Okay, so my recommendation is if you get those, I'm not a believer in them. Okay, and as a
That's
hiring
good.
manager, talent acquisition manager, I never use them, but I know a lot of companies are. It's another screen in, screen out kind of a tool. In many of them, there aren't right or wrong answers, but yes, you have to complete it all. I know, they're terrible. Okay, I find myself trying to psych them out. What is it they're really looking? Okay, but yes, if they're there, you should do it. Don't worry about it. Just do it quickly. Sometimes they are done on the basis, the best ones are done on the basis of we've also surveyed our employees and these are their best responses. Unfortunately, we're not finding a lot of companies that are doing that. So it's a way of doing that match. It's another way of trying to narrow down the field a little bit. Unfortunately, we don't know what it is they're looking for. Go ahead and do it. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, well, I think the talent person or recruiter reached out to me on LinkedIn. I'll just say thank you, but I don't know, didn't score as well. Hope it doesn't eliminate me, but whatever.
Okay. So either that or I had a glitch and I couldn't complete it. May I finish?
Oh, just say you had a glitch. That's a good idea.
Not you chose not to finish it, but there was a computer issue.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
Sometimes
Thank you.
blaming it on technology sometimes works. Okay, I'd like to finish this up quickly because we really do have a lot. So Michelle, did you have anything real quick? Okay. Otherwise, just add them in the chat. Michelle, your hand is still up, as is Dominique's. No. Okay, lower your hand. Dominique, did you have something or Wade?
Yeah, it's actually a response for Cindy. I've just noticed that a lot of companies that are a lot of companies that are backed by venture capitalists, they rely on those assessment tests more than I think anybody. But and I did talk to somebody who works at a company who does that, and he said, yeah, the venture capital backers want us to do that. So that's just I'm just making a comment. That's all.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Oh,
Dominique?
Just very quickly, there is a company that I follow for personal interest, and then I just noticed this morning that they did look at my profile. And there's another company that I was at a job fair probably maybe about 9 months ago. And this morning too, I saw that someone from the HR department looked at my profile. So I'm definitely going to follow up on those two.
Absolutely. This is a long process. Okay. We don't know when it starts and when it finishes. In terms of LinkedIn, you always have to be active. You always have to be out there, check to see if anybody's looking, but always make those comments and those connections. And your comments are not just, hey, this is great. It's a comment that moves the conversation forward and helps to demonstrate your expertise. Okay. That professionalism that you want to have. Perfect. Okay. I know there are a couple of new faces here, but we've gone a little further today than I wanted to in terms of time, and I want to get to what we want to do. So if you're new, please write new in the comments, all in caps, and put a little bit of information. And then next week, we will get you an opportunity to introduce yourself. But I really want to turn it over to Sue right now because this is a fascinating topic and she's got a lot to share.
Yeah.
Now, yeah. I was in the middle of sharing and realized, oh, I was still muted. Here's what we're going to do today. I'm going to go through things quickly, even more so, but I want you to keep your eyes on the takeaway. I've said this in the post I did. I put links in the private group, and I'll give them to you again before we get into breakout rooms, because you'll have a chance to put this into action. That's what I do best. How do you do things? You want to tell your story, but you're going to get more impact when you get your transferable skills into categories where you can make sense and more easily write about it. And I have examples that I will show you as well. As we get started, I'll go through the agenda, but I would love it if you'd put in the chat box how you define transferable skills. One word, one phrase, write me 2 or 3 sentences, whatever would be useful for you. I just want to get your head around, what do I think they do? What do I think they, oh my, I'm getting my language confused today. What do I define my transferable skills as? So here's how we're going to get there. First, we're going to talk just briefly about things you know very well. My career is changing fast, and what you all are telling us from the field, from what you do. Then I'll show you a methodology to think about describing your transferable skills. You'll meet Alex Shannon. We're going to try these on and see how her work adapted to that, and specifically chose examples for you. Many of you are senior, many of you have administrative and financial roles, so these are things that you should be able to use if this is a way you want to take your career forward. And we'll end briefly with what you should do next, because part of coming here is the learn part, and learning is putting it into practice. I will skip by this. I told you I have pom-poms. That's what I feature in my photo. That's the important thing. So let's go on to your career changing fast. I am hearing all sorts of things from people. So I'm not a data jockey, but jobs want that now. Look at the rest of the job isn't really data work. People tell me I'm a trainer or I'm a curriculum development specialist, and that's all I do. And they don't realize their transferable skills. Lots of people tell me they're just out of school. Even if you did a degree a while ago or you're doing one now, you feel like a generalist maybe in the things that you've done. And I also hear from people who say, I was mostly doing project management, but actually I was hired for more technical work. So there's a lot of things that I've heard from all of you. And I want to make sure we can talk about, okay, what are transferable skills? Normally, you'll see a list like this. When you search on transferable skills, Indeed has the top 10, JobScan has the top 15. They're all skills that are one thing: negotiation skills, creative thinking, research, as if that's the only way you talk about it. And so I will see cover letters where people will say things like, I'm a good time manager and I'm a team player. And that doesn't come with a lot of context. But I want to remind you, if you haven't seen this continuum, maybe you've heard about it. And if you haven't seen it, that's fine too, but some of you will have. Learning is what we start with. That's an activity that introduces new information, like today may be learning for you all the way. A skill is what happens when you get knowledge and guided practice in your learning activity. But it doesn't become experience until you've applied it in real world settings and it's been validated by an end user. Doesn't mean one person, but when you go out, for example, after graduate school and people say, oh, what kind of data did you analyze in school? That data may be useful to talk about a project, but the experience in your new job will help you describe it. And some of you have alluded to these kinds of challenges as you've gone along. Thank you for everybody who's given me definitions. I would like you to put a 1 in the chat if you've heard of something like this, whether it looks like the 3 blocks I wrote out, but have you heard about the way we have distinction from learning to skill to experience, and a 0 if you've never heard about it. And no value judgment, I'm just always curious how this translates into different audiences. Oh, I forgot I wrote a question for you. So that's the question. Either yes or no, or 1 or 0. So let's talk about describing our transferable skills. Many of you have been with me in presentations before. I'm using this photo almost every time, just to remind you that our goal is not to talk about how great we are only by saying we're great, and believe me, trust me, it's to speak and write for the other side of the conversation. What does the hiring manager need to hear? What does my boss need to hear? So what I've worked on for a long time, and Linda, thank you for the feedback you gave me several months ago when I finally came up with this as a methodology. I said to Linda, I feel like we aren't helpful to people when we say, tell me your transferable skills, because we don't show them how. I came up with the idea of categories, I think because I'm an evaluator and a researcher. The categories I'm going to show you, there are 10. These aren't the only ones. This is just a start, but these are some commonalities that many, many jobs have in them. There's a lot more to talk about on this, but you'll do much more if I show you the categories and then the example. So the first one, leadership and management. A lot of you are in leadership positions or getting towards senior management. You may be doing client and partner collaboration. It may be stakeholder relationship, customer relationship. Most all of you, all of us, have project management and implementation responsibilities in our job. And we also have admin and financial management, if not directly, indirectly. Maybe you do training and facilitation work in your job. You might be responsible for making sure that we communicate results of our work to different audiences. There's a group of people that work on strategy, policy, briefings, even industry advocacy, for example. Business coordination is mostly business development, but it's also new business exploration. And then finally, we're seeing much more being asked about and how and in what way you can use artificial intelligence for business needs. And finally, digital literacy, which is something all of us have to try to better explain and use and talk about. And you'll get a link to this and another tool that I'm giving you before we go into the breakout rooms, and you'll have them. They are already in the private group that Linda mentioned that this group supports for you to take those anytime. So I want to try these out, and let's introduce you to Alec Shannon. I've worked with Alec a couple years ago. She knows she's featured here and she's fine with it. So when I was developing this several months ago, I thought, oh, I don't want to bother her and ask her for her new CV. So I'll go to LinkedIn and take her LinkedIn work. This is her present job. Now you notice she's been in the job 5 years. She's at the deputy level. And we can see at the bottom, she's used the skills that LinkedIn lets you put in that get featured, which I love. And we see implementation plans and budgeting. But I don't see anything about leadership. It's probably in the 12, but we know people don't click see more very often. So I took her exact words in what she says she's doing, and I made some categories of what I saw them, not the categories that I just showed you. And we're going to do a relationship matching exercise. So on the left are the things that she told me. We saw the phrase implementation plans. You may have seen, if you looked at the words cross-functional team leadership, things that I know other jobs are asking for. And on the most of the slide are the icons I showed you for the 10. So I thought, okay, what does she really have in leadership and management? And right now, I'll remind you, this is one job. She's had it for almost 6 years. She does cross-functional team leadership, executive support, and program leadership. And those are all aspects of leadership. Great. What about implementation? Because she is a deputy coordinator. Well, she makes plans, she coordinates multiple projects, and she's got team management. I thought that was the appropriate place for that. She is one of the people who does a lot with executive strategies briefings. She actually has design strategy and strategy implementation as part of what she does in her job. She has client relationships, stakeholder partnership building and partnership development. And she, not surprisingly, as a deputy coordinator, has admin and finance. She does both operations management and financial management. So this is what it looks like mapped. Now, is this everything she does? No, but this was what was available to me publicly that I wanted to make sure you understand when I talk about what you do and how you can translate it to categories. Okay, Sue, but what am I supposed to do with this? Match up the icons to something? No, I made you an Excel tool because that's what I do. I like Excel. So these skills on the left are what I call traditional transferable skills. I told you every time you search for transferable skills, you come up with a lot of these same things: budget management, independent work, adaptability, problem solving. And I put the 10 across the top. This is in the spreadsheet. This is the second resource I'll give you. You can put as many other things in there as you want. People who've used it keep saying, Sue, this doesn't reflect me. I do senior level technical advising across the globe. Then you need to put it in and figure out how to make it work for you. So I took Alex's work that we just saw on the left side of the screen, and now I tried to fit it into traditional transferable skills. And you'll notice when we move through this, the pink is the traditional list of skills itself, and the green is Alex's higher level already aggregation. So in leadership and management, we can see that she has a lot of the things that they're calling for. And what I've written in the green panel on the left is words that you can begin to find examples in, so that you can begin to weave together a story and say, I've had 2 leadership and management roles. It's not evident from all these checks, but it's evident from what she was describing. And then she talked about, on the red underline at the bottom, the last role where she had sudden budget cuts and personnel reallocation, which is a very helpful thing to know. I didn't put in every single thing she would have done in these 2 roles. This was specifically about how she could describe her leadership and management. Now, when I look at Alex's experience that I showed you earlier, on the left-hand side are the same words that you saw on the left side with the icons. You see now, under leadership and management, in her present job, she's done 3 different aspects of it. In the paragraph, it mostly serves well. I know she had a leadership job before this, so I left this paragraph as I've had 2 leadership and management roles. And all of that's very strong. What else do we get out of this? We now have specific phrases that summarize some of the things that you move forward on that you wouldn't necessarily think of as a transferable skill. You might think of executive support as just something you do as part of what you do in your executive leadership. And then you can write a sentence like, I provided executive support and mentoring to the cross-functional teams in my portfolio. So trying to help you see that the skills themselves give you indications of where you have experience, but you need to bring more about categorizing those into higher levels so you can weave together a story now, as we'll see with the financial admin, where you're specifying, after you describe your general experience, some of the specifics. In admin and finance, she has the traditional skills that you saw the list of, and this is the pink category at the top left. She has two things. And when we go to everything else she's done, she has budgeting, operations, financial management, and some people do distinguish operations management separate from financial, not always. So now she can say, I've had 3 roles in admin, finance, management, and then applying those 3 specific areas, which helps expand and give more context. Content includes the context that you would go through. I know I went through this really quickly, but I want to make sure you have time to do this in what I'm in now. Linda, I learned a couple months ago from someone on LinkedIn, don't call it a breakout room. It's an activity room. So we're going to go into activity rooms. 2 people randomly assigned. You'll have 7 minutes. I'm going to show you in a minute the instructions and go over them. The point for this is so that you're in a room getting help if you want, doing a discussion of what you have to contribute and how this would work for you. And I will give you the links for this as well. So let me show you what's going to happen. You're going to introduce yourselves each 1 minute. This is a good practice for you to do your 1-minute intro. And then you're going to work separately for 3 minutes. Find 1 or 2 experiences and which transferable skills category it belongs to. And then you're going to take 1 minute each to reflect back to your colleague what was difficult to do or answer for you. Now, what I do with breakout rooms is I will follow the timing. So after 2 minutes, I'll say, intro's over, start working on mapping, and I'll send a message out. And then I'll send a message out after 3 minutes after that. So it'll keep you on task. If you want to just talk to the other person, that's fine too. You have to decide how you want to take this forward. But I want to make sure that you have an opportunity to practice this, even though we won't have a lot of time for working together after it's over. We will have a little bit of time. And I'm going to quickly put in the chat both the links and where did my chat box go? There it is. All right, here are the links if you didn't download these already. And then there's yes, the links are there. Okay. Oops, I forgot to take out some of the instructions I accidentally copied. So Linda, and remember when you get into the breakout room, you may not have access to the chat. So if you need these links, try to click on them now or copy them quickly. And then I'll ask Linda to put you into, oh goodness, my timer's. All right, we'll see you back in 7, there are my fingers, 7 minutes, and we'll talk then. Oh, there it is, good.
Sorry, I'm rushing you through this, Sue.
Do not apologize. I took some stuff out already, and for me, what I've discovered is the best way to get people to do anything is push them into breakout rooms. It just takes them off the main screen. Even when I tell them, pull out a empty screen and start typing, they don't like that. So,
No.
yeah. No, no apologies needed at all. I heard the cold in your voice and I
Oh.
thought, oh, those little guys. Oh, could have been those big guys. Who knows,
Could have
right?
been any of them, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry because I know
It
that's
happens, it's
not.
just that my immune system is not strong enough to fight it off yet.
I know. I know. I know. And that's why I feel bad for you, especially because you were also exhausted from trying to do all those preps. I hope you got some help.
I
I
did,
think I got
thank you.
stuck into this breakout room,
You didn't get
and
into a breakout room,
and
David?
I hit leave
Oh,
instead of leave room.
it looks like you're in there with Sue, so let me add you to a different group
Which
instead.
one? Okay.
So some of these rooms are going to be 3, sorry about that.
No, no, I was
Okay.
going to tell you if there's extras, I just put 3 in. It's not a
Yep.
problem. It's just get a small enough group
Yep.
that they can talk together.
David, you should be, there you go.
Other than that, are you feeling okay? Are you in the midst of some stuff? You don't have to tell me the specifics. I was just curious if you're mostly energy or mostly not energy most days.
The last couple of days have been not. Part of it is, so I need to do whatever I can to increase that. Part of that is that my blood counts are still down.
Oh, they are. Yeah, that's hard. Oh, I'm so sorry.
It
I'm so,
happens.
I know. And again, um, so I accidentally, yesterday when Mindy's meeting started, I was on the phone with someone I met in Detroit and she needed some help. And I guess it popped up at the bottom of my screen like the FWC meeting's on, and I missed it. And 11:30, I finished up, and I look at my calendar thinking I'm not having a meeting till 12, and it's like, what? And I looked at my calendar in the morning. I knew we had the meeting.
I know.
So I got on and I didn't see you there, and then it was great you popped on because every time you don't show up, which is so rare, I worry about
Oh, thank you.
where you might be. So just I look for you all the time.
Thank you. That's
yeah.
why I let you all know in advance that I might be late. I just didn't expect to be that late.
And it is what it is, you know. It was interesting because it probably worked out well because we ended up in the discussion that I think she had with Carrie about we haven't formed ourselves yet to know what we're going to be like and what our helping is and all of that. You know, so she's trying to get us away from the logistics, like how are we going to announce this? And I said,
Right.
well, interestingly enough, when I was walking on the beach last week, I thought, this is, in a way, this is going to sound so arrogant. We're the founders and we're going to
Huh.
help all these people. You know, I'm envisioning a LinkedIn post like,
Right.
what the F are we doing? Oops, I got to tell people that it's time to.
Mm. But I loved all those pictures of you and your husband on the beach. Really
Well,
cute.
thank you.
Where were
I
you on the
don't
beach?
We were in Corolla in the Outer Banks, and
Nice.
I'd never been there. Most of the kids had not been there either. And so,
Oh, your kids went too?
yeah, we had all 3 generations. John did it because one of the grandkids asked for another family vacation, which we did for his 75th. And so John said, I know Sue loves the beach. Let's just get a beach house. And so we had 2 blocks to the ocean. We had a pool right down in our backyard. We had 3 levels, so everybody had a level. You know, it worked out as well as you can be with 4 grandchildren and 2 boys with testosterone. We had a
I
blast.
understand.
We had
That's
a blast.
fantastic.
I'm
Yeah,
giving
we're
them
going
a
to do a
little bit.
smaller one in Wisconsin mid-August.
Oh, good. Oh, I hope you'll be okay for that.
Yeah,
I'm going to give
I
them a
will be
little more
regardless.
time, by the way,
Yeah.
because we don't need a lot of wind up. Yeah, and I'm feeling as I get older, just I need to, I just want time. What was there was time with the kids, um, and the grandkids, and also a way for them to, even though we all live close by each other, some of them don't see each other, brothers and
Right.
sisters, unless they're at our house. And it's like, I'm trying to get them to realize, John and I don't have a lot of time. You need to be asking your father do you remember blah, 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 or asking him things that we found my father's army papers. We always knew he was in the army. We found pictures. We never asked him, why was he in Germany? He was near the Brandenburg Gate because we have a picture of that. But we've never asked him about it. We didn't know why he brought back dishes for my mother, even though it was always like, these are the dishes Daddy brought Mommy from Germany when they got married. And, I mean, ridiculous things like this. And you don't think about it till you're in your 40s. His kids are beginning to get to that.
Yes, you're absolutely
time.
right.
Yeah. So I'm going to give him another couple minutes.
That's fine.
But also the kids love to be together, and they, now that the girls are older, they're busy with activities, so they rarely get to see the younger boys. And I have one daughter-in-law who's good. Like the first time we did this, she said to me, why don't I get everybody to cook dinner each night? I said, great. So I called her up before this one. I said, remember, can you do pizza with Ross the first day and tell the others what night are they choosing, so that I don't have to be there like, let's get a kitty together, because there's one family wants to make sure to the penny. The other family's like, just get it done. The kids, whatever's in the fridge belongs to everybody. And yeah. So it was fun. We had a good time.
That's great.
Yeah. Yeah. And my one daughter-in-law, who's a great teacher, and also she's great at events. Every night we did like kids charades, we did kids matching games, and then they had one night when they celebrated me, and she did a quiz of me, and they all had whiteboards and had to write the answers.
Oh, I love
and
that.
That was really fun. She did a great job. And she's such
Was
a
this for your birthday? Was that what the timing was?
Well, my birthday's not till November, but you don't go to the beach in November. So
No,
that's why
absolutely.
John wanted to do this in now for me, which I loved and the kids loved. And then when my birthday comes, we'll do something, but it won't be, the last time I had a big birthday was 70, and that was the first 4 months of COVID. So yeah, it's just trying to get time with them, as you know, as your kids get older, even without their own kids, they're just busy. So,
I know.
yeah. So yeah, I'm lots of life lessons, I guess.
Me too.
I know. Probably earlier than you expected, some of them.
Unfortunately, yeah, but that's
Yeah,
okay.
I know. I know. You're so optimistic and all of that.
There are no alternatives to being optimistic right now. I shouldn't say
Well,
there are days when that's not the case, but for the
yeah.
most part, why not?
And I know, I'm the same way. I'm like, why not be? I'm always the glass half full, even in the face of evidence when I shouldn't be. I'm going to close the room. So you probably have it for 60 seconds. Yeah. And wind up won't take that long. But anyway, always nice to chat with you. We actually, if you don't mind it, I'm away next week. Can we have a catch-up chat? I want to talk to you about opportunities. Okay, I'll put it on my list.
Perfect.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Let me get my things all in order of where. Here we go. Whoops. I'm saying oops, not to you all. I just, there we are. All right. Would love to hear from people. How did it go in the chat? Anybody have anything you want to share? Let's see. Thank you for people who told me they hadn't seen the learning to experience. Thanks, Marianne, for the categories. I thought you might enjoy that, knowing what I've known about you through this group and some information we've shared. The spreadsheet, yes, is in the private group. I put the links in the chat already. And if you still can't find it, check the private group out. Thank you. Linda said we all do so much more than we give ourselves credit for. Oh, Lisa, good idea about using ChatGPT. Although Lisa and I spent some time together in Detroit, and I was telling her it's always my challenge not to go to GPT immediately, because I want you all to do the work so you get the ideas that you can talk about things as well. But it also helps not frustrate you. Remember a year ago when you had to match job postings to your resume by hand, or at least I did by hand. You couldn't make a copy of the sheet viewer only. You should be able to download it. You just can't edit it. So I I use Google Sheets a lot, but didn't realize. So there's a sheet and there's a slide, but the slide has the icons on it. But if you're still having problems, I'll check it as soon as we get off here. All right, so let's talk about how you're going to take this forward for anybody that wants to give some feedback. You could download but couldn't copy to your own Google Drive. Okay. I need to learn better how to do this, Charles, and every time I use it, I get feedback on it and clearly haven't learned. So I will work on making sure you can add it to your own Google Drive. And by the way, Charles, I meant to mention to you what you described. This activity probably will be really helpful for you to take it forward. So, oh, nice. People who were in the same Zoom room. All right, what should you do next? Well, just a reminder of the takeaway. And what people have written in the chat helps amplify this. When you try to talk about skills, you get into the laundry list of I did this, I did this, I did this, and not a lot of evidence. When you categorize things, you're actually making it easier for the other side of the conversation to understand. In 3 different roles, I've had major conflict resolution challenges, which I resolved by doing X, whatever it is. And so I'm going to ask you to tell me, how are you going to use what you learned here? I saw some things that people might want to continue doing this. Just tell me briefly, how are you going to take this learning forward? You don't have to answer. You can tell me this wasn't helpful for you. My skin is very thick, and it doesn't matter if it didn't work for you at this time. I just want you to have different information, consider it, and see how it fits in your professional development. If you think that you did enough mapping, but you're not going to take it forward, that's fine. Maybe you're going to finish mapping and have more where you can begin to match it up to your actual start stories, because Linda always talks about that T is your transferable skills. And here's what I'm going to ask you to do. You take your learning forward by sharing it with others. So 1 or 2, or maybe not anything. You might say, Sue, great. I'm going to finish mapping this. And if you want to send it to me, great. You'll get feedback from me. I'll ask you for your resume and give you some help if you want it. I'm easy to find. I'm suementors@gmail.com or on LinkedIn. The second is putting yourself out on LinkedIn. I'd love if you would write an actual post about this. But most of the people, yes, Linda, but most of the people, I can barely get you to comment. But I did write a post this morning and say I was doing this. And if you want, you can take the bit.ly link or find that post. It's called Transfer Skills Post LNL. It just shows that I did it today. You could write a comment on this and say what Charles did. I found that using LinkedIn skills mapping made my LinkedIn hard to read and look at. Okay, that may be true. That's great. But I would not, but, and you have the opportunity to make a comment about what's relevant or not. Wade said I need to, oh, he needs to get off. Okay, let's see. Ansel Grimes, using it to combine my experience and skills in 2 different industries. Exactly. That's where you talk to one industry about why the car industry will help you, will help what you bring in even more to hospitality industry, for example. And Linda, you are emphasizing what you know that I always emphasize. Don't just include your results, start with your results. On the left margin, the first thing people are going to scan is down the left margin, but that's a different story. And I'll offer that to Linda if she wants me to talk about outcome-based contribution statements so that you get that on the left margin. So thank you very much. I want to give you all pom-poms for this effort. And I'm very easy to find on LinkedIn because I was the very first Sue Griffey, so it's easy to find me there, or email me at Sue Mentors. And I'll turn it back over now to Linda. And thank you all for letting me present today.
Sue, this was absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much. Guys, this is one you may want to double check and watch it again on YouTube, because there was so much good information there that it was hard to get all at once. I did put the link to Sue's post this morning in the chat. Please comment on it, share the information. Go to our private group, which is where you're going to find the resources that Sue gave us. Okay, and if you're not a member of our private group, please ask to join. Okay, it's where we share ideas, information, ask questions. Sorry. Talking about asking questions. That's what next week is all about. Next week is one of our Ask Us Anything. If you've got questions about job search, if you have other people that you know who have questions about job search, this is one of the ones to get them started. Because the questions will be far and wide. It's whatever it is there for the morning. Okay. We're going to do our best to answer as many of those questions as we possibly can to try and make sure that you have the information you need in order to move forward in your search. So next week is that job search or career search Q&A. If you've got questions, we've got answers. Please join us. Please invite other people to the group, not to the private group. Don't invite them to the private group, because if you're inviting them to the private group and they haven't been in part of these meetings, I won't admit them. So invite them to the lunch and learn, or invite them to register, even if they don't show up. But that's the only way they're going to get into those private group meetings. Okay, or group sessions. Anything else we can answer for you? By the way, as always, Sue, fantastic. I love this. If you all have questions about or ideas about other sessions you'd like, please message me, get a hold of me, email me. Okay, send me a note. Want to make sure that as I'm continuing to plan now for August and September, that we are getting those topics that really make sense to you, the things that you really want to hear. One, okay, do you have your hand up, Tara? Were you waving at me? Okay. It's okay. Perfect. Okay. So make sure, I'm going to tell you all to remember to copy the chat. I will put it in our private group, but there are two ways that you can do the chat. One is to go up to the very top of the chat screen where it says Career Search Lunch and Learn, and there'll be 3 dots to the side, one of which will say Save File. The other is to click anywhere in that chat box and do a Control-A, Control-C, and then it will copy it into whatever it is, wherever you put it. I often do it into a Word doc. I will add the private or this chat into our private group, hopefully this afternoon, if not that tomorrow, just to make sure that it's all there for those of you who can't do it on your own. You're welcome, Amy, and all of those. Any ideas you have for things we'd like to touch or talk about, or speakers, please do let me know. In the meantime, I am going to say thank you, Sue. This was amazing. Make sure that you download her information. What private group am I talking about? We have a private group on LinkedIn, Sergio. Okay, it's hosted on LinkedIn. LinkedIn can't find it. It's where we share information, where we do some networking. I see people ask questions. I see people share jobs. Okay. We'll share resources, but you have to ask to join that group. And I will go in and I will invite people or accept people into that group later this afternoon. Anything else that I can answer for you all today? Or do for you all? Sorry we didn't get a chance to introduce the new people, but we'll give you an opportunity another time. Congratulations to all of you who've got interviews, who've put yourself out there, who are making the effort, okay, to get to where you need to be. All right. I am going to give you the opportunity to do the chat, copy the chat. And if there are no more questions or nobody else wants to speak right now, I'm going to stop the recording.